What's up, guys, and welcome back to Project Time Garage. Behind me here is a, I don't know, early to mid 50s John Deere Model B, the old 2-cylinder Poppin John. This thing has been sitting here under my shed for, I don't know, 5-6 years, something like that. Long enough that the tires are starting to sink in the ground, and that one over there on the other side has just all but disappeared. So, goal for today: get this thing up and running, starting and moving. Big project. And oh, if you've never heard the old 2-cylinder John Deere's, I got a pretty unique sound to them. I love them. So, hey, also, I put this up on Instagram like a while back, kind of as a sneak peek of what's coming. So, if you're following me on Instagram, you already knew this was coming. So, follow me on Instagram at ProjectTimeGarage. I put all kinds of upcoming projects and stuff up there as I decide to do them or as I acquire them. So anyway, let's see if we can breathe some life back into this old gal. First things first, I'm going to get a jumper box and I'm going to get in this battery compartment here, and I'm going to see if we have an engine that will even turn over or not, because this thing's been sitting here a while. It could be just stuck, who knows. So we'll start there. So it's negative ground. That means negative to negative, positive to positive. And let's just see what happens here. Anybody taking bets on whether it's just going to burn to the ground or not? Well, so far, so good, I guess. First things first, we make sure we're in neutral. We are. Then we make sure that this thing is a hand clutch. So we make sure that the hand clutch is disengaged. And I'm going to leave the ignition switch off for now. Just want to see if it'll spin over and see if it's stuck or not. I'm getting nothing. Well, so we've got a big fat nothing on the starter motor. So we've got to get inside this here to find out what's going on. The way these things work is pretty simple. The starter solenoid and all is actually part of the starter motor. And when you push this thing here down, it just pushes a button on the starter to engage it. So very simple, but got to get this cover off to see what's going on. So let's get some tools and get about that process. Okay, so now that we have that done, I'm going to go ahead and take this rod and thread it back down on top of here just for a minute. Obviously, we can't start the tractor like this because this flywheel spins and it'll get all in this. But we can at least see if the thing will turn over like this. And oh, by the way, I did take the liberty of doing this. At least it turns over. So the engine isn't stuck, but now I know we don't have a starter. We need a starter. So the starter on this animal is right there. And it's some pretty old technology. Check it out. This is how it works. So there's a ring right here that goes around the starter, and at the very top, which you probably can't see, there's a place for a threaded rod to go in. That threaded rod goes all the way up to the top, and that's what you push down with your foot. And when you push it down, it pushes this whole thing down like so. right? Let me show you what that does. The starter itself, there's an access cover here. So let's pull that off. I'll show you how it works. This is the ring I was talking about right here. There's our starter under there. And when that ring is pressed down, it basically just actuates this arm and pushes the little button in like that. We have 12 volts on this lug straight to our battery, uninterrupted 12 volts. And then we have basically a contact point in here that this right here makes a connection when you push this button in, and it just throws 12 volts right to the starter motor. Now this starter has been replaced, it looks like. It doesn't really look that old, quite honestly, which tells me that most likely our problem is the contact in here, because lately all of these replacement buttons here that I've used have not been of very good quality. And the little contact in there tends to burn up on it after a few uses. It just, you know, it's a substantial amperage draw when we throw the 12 volts into this starter and try to turn this motor over. And it just, it burns the contacts. So what I've had luck with doing is pulling this thing off and cleaning those contacts and putting it back together. So we're going to try that first. Also, look what I found. I just happened to glance down here. This is the plate that came off of the starter cover. And look, there's a nut and a washer right there. That's pretty interesting. I'll bet you that it's the old lock washer and nut from here. I'll bet you anything that when this starter was replaced, they took this thing right here and just laid it down right there and forgot about it. That's what it looks like. Anyway, looks like we're going to need about a 9/16 and a flat screwdriver to get this apart. Oh, and obviously, disconnect the battery before you do this. This right here, this yellow wire most likely goes up to our switch, and this is what feeds our switch. There really should be a fuse down here of some sort, but I don't think they did a lot of fusing back in those days. And you can see what we're dealing with here. It's basically a wedge that pushes against this lug up here and this part of the battery. So I'm going to go clean those up real quick. You can see what's going on down in there. That big wedge there just kind of basically makes a bridge between that thing and the floor of it down there and the starter, the post on the starter, and that's it. And I would assume that's where our problem is. So let me clean that up. Okay, there's our contacts cleaned up. And basically what I did was I just took a file and filed them. You have to be careful. You don't want to take too much material off. You see that there's already kind of an indentation there. Well, that's from the arcing of the starter motor, or that's from the switch arcing out when you try to start the thing. So it's already eroded that much of that copper away from there. So be careful. Don't take too much if you do this. We'll also file the terminal on the starter, put this stuff back together, see what happens. Okay. There's that. Now we should be able to just put it back together and see what happens. Flathead screws are fun in tight places. Didn't think I was ever going to get that screw started. All right. Let's go back up top, hook the battery charger back up, see what we've got here. Okay. So there it is. Let me hook the battery charger back up, or the booster box back up, and we'll come back and try this again. Let's see what we have here. We have to really watch about this because it spins. Nothing. Do we have a bad starter? Okay, we're back under the tractor, and I just want to do a little bit of testing to see if I have power here at this lug. Just troubleshooting now. Of course, you can't see that. So, okay, so here we go. Test light on this. And I have power there, which means either this isn't working, or it could very well be that this just isn't getting pushed in enough, right? Nope. All right. Back apart it comes. I think we're going to have to pull this starter out of here next. So let's go ahead and unhook the battery and pull this starter out, get it on the bench, and see what's going on with it. There we go. Well, deja vu all over again. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this thing back off. We're going to take our good old-fashioned booster box. We're going to hit the lug right on the starter and see if the starter itself even is any good. The starter actually looks to be a pretty fresh rebuild. Looks like it's had brushes in it and such. I'm not above taking it apart if I need to. That's where that nut came from. That's what's wrong with it. It couldn't throw the Bendix out, could it? Well, let's carry on with our thought process anyway, okay? At least we'll know here in a second if we're on the right track or not. So, turn this thing on. It's on. No, nothing. Unless maybe I'm not getting a good ground. Kind of hard to get a ground on the thing anywhere. The booster box has the shortest cables known to man. Let's see if that's any better. No. We're going to take it apart. aren't we? That's what it's looking like. That's what it's looking like. All right, well, no use in messing around. Let's get it apart and see what's going on inside it. Now that I've rotated it, I wonder if I'll get anything out of it or not. No. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, yeah. Look here, it's just gonna try to run. Okay, so maybe it just has a bad spot in it, potentially. No, I know what it was. It's all me. Look at this. I do this stuff all the time. When you're looking at jumper cables, you see the wire goes down and it's directly attached right there. This side is dead. There's no current on this at all. It's just a clamping thing. So I'll bet you any money I was striking this side against the starter, which doesn't have any voltage on it, as opposed to striking the side that has the hotness. Either way, let's do this. Let's put this back on here, hook power to it, push the button, and see what happens. Whoops. I've forgotten some stuff. Why didn't it work in the tractor? I don't know. It may really just be a bad spot here on it, on the armature. I don't know. But we'll see. The starter didn't sound very healthy because my booster box is almost dead. It needs to be charged. But I'm really glad I'm putting this starter solenoid switch back on this with it out of the tractor, because putting it on in the tractor is a mess. All right, so stick this back in here because I assume that's where that goes, and I should be able to get my super short cables back out here. I should be able to clip onto this guy and then clip on here, and I should be able to, well, I need to clip on somewhere else, don't I? If I just clip on there, I should be able to do that right there and get somewhere with it, right? So I'm using the right side of them. Okay, we've done something. Yay us. I just have to remember to put that bolt back on there when we get back out to the tractor. Pretty impressive pile of carbon that came out of there, assumably from the brushes, maybe. All right, I say we go back out there, take care of this, and then see if it'll turn over by the starter. Back together we go. I'm gonna go ahead and take the carburetor off and get it into soak because I know it's gonna have a problem. It's always had a problem, as a matter of fact, because the passageways in this thing are so long that it's hard to get them cleaned out. In fact, they make a drill bit, like an aircraft, really super long drill bit that a lot of people use to clean these things out with. But I'm going to go for some evapo-rust and a ultrasonic cleaner, see if that does anything for us. Can't imagine what the gas is going to be like in this thing. I'm scared to even look. Let's turn the gas on and see if anything even comes out of it or not. Nope, nothing coming out of there. Doesn't mean it's empty. That just means it's probably just pure gum. Anyway. 9/16. Several of them, in fact. Start here. Ooh, yeah. Pretty ugly. At least it's dry, I guess. And of course I'm going to use a huge wrench to take it apart. Why wouldn't I? Fuel screen looks okay. It's not just a whole lot to these. There's a pin that goes through here that holds the needle assembly on it. But clearly it's been taken apart before. Get that way. Yeah. That's right. Don't like it. Pretty much anything that's cast goes in. Well, what do you know about that? Gonna go in that for an hour or so, then we'll pull it out and put it in the heated washer. Just wait longer. All right, fresh out of the wash, going back together. Okay, here's where we are so far. Carburetor's been cleaned and put back on it, but it does leak past the needle seat. It probably just needs a carb rebuild kit, not a big deal. It spins over, so our starter's working now. I've got fresh gas in it, and I've turned the gas on until it started leaking out here. So what I'm going to do is I've turned the gas back off now because I know the float bowl is completely full. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the key off, and we're going to spin the starter over, maybe let it draw some fuel down in the cylinders and kind of get them primed. And then we'll cut the key on, see what happens. Should be entertaining. So, key off, spin it over. Key on, see what happens. As soon as it starts, I'm probably just going to turn it back off. Well, we had something anyway, didn't we? Let's try it again. And that's where my battery just gave up. Well, about a week went by, and if it looks like I'm holding a starter in my hand, it's because I'm holding a starter in my hand, and it's for this tractor. I finally just gave up and had the starter rebuilt, because over and over and over it kept giving me fits. So look, brand new shiny rebuilt starter. Let's put this on and then hopefully start the tractor. Okay, we have everything done now. Everything's put back on it. It should start. I've checked the oil, I've checked the antifreeze. Everything should be right. So I'm gonna turn the gas on. Carburetor's overflowing, but I think it'll suffice to get us moving. So here goes nothing. We're in neutral. Clutch is disengaged. Contact. guys, I appreciate you watching. Mission success. The old bee here, we got it running, got it to our farm, gonna put it in the barn, kind of make some more room for me and my shed. So anyway, haven't already, click the subscribe button down there. I'd appreciate it. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about this video. Tell all your buddies about us. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time.